Good morning. We're going to call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, and call to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, we'll start with the roll call. Want to start over here?
Sure. Kieran Farrell.
Don Thomas.
Ron Binnock.
Todd Capella.
Dan Allers.
Okay. Approval of the minutes from February 20th, 2025. It's kind of been a while. Anybody make a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all in
Second.
favor? All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. Public comment? There is no one here this morning, so we will not have any public comment. Selection of the chair and vice chair for this next season. Does anybody want to be the chairman? Because I would like to not be the chairman. Because it has been 2 seasons, and I think someone new needs to step up.
As evidenced by, I couldn't remember turning the mic on, I don't think I have 10 meetings in yet, so I might be a little too green to handle the chairperson spot.
Anybody? Oh, come on, you guys. Well, so we don't even have a vice chair.
Not currently, no.
Okay, if I do the chair, will someone be the vice chair?
I will be the vice chair.
Thank God.
There you go.
Okay, Kieran Farrell is our vice chair. I will do one more year, and then I'm not doing it. Okay.
And if we could just put that through a motion. if you
Oh, do
don't
I have to
mind.
motion it?
Yep.
Do I have to motion each individually, or just the motion together?
I would do individually if you could.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll motion that Don Thomas is the chair of the Public Safety Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that's approved. And then we will vote that Kieran Farrell is vice chair for the Safety Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those approve? All those not in favor? Okay, motion is approved. So chair is Don Thomas and vice chair is Kieran Farrell.
Thank you.
Okay. You know, I wonder if should I move up for the, it says old business. I'd like to put in, let's have, for old business, let's have the fire chief, or the chief come up and talk to us, Chief Chris, talk to us about the fire update for that, for our public police and fire updates. Do that now.
Good morning, everybody. So I want to take just a minute to introduce myself to anybody who doesn't know me. So my name is Chris Armiger. I am the new deputy chief here at Fort Myers Beach Fire. And just a little background on me. So I'm 20 years in the fire service. I did my first almost 9 years at South Trail Fire District, which if you don't know it's on the other side of the bridge. Basically it covered, say, Summerlin to 75 and then Pagefield to about Briarcliff, big square in the middle of town. I worked there for 9 years, started as a rookie firefighter and then just worked my way up. So I got a lot of my operational experience there. And then a few years later, I came over the bridge and started working at the beach. Started at the beach as a firefighter, day one, probationary firefighter. And I'm in my 11th year. I'm now the deputy chief of the beach. So I've worked my way up through the chain. I'm from Baltimore. As a kid, we moved down here when I was about 10 or 11. And then from then, I lived off Iona as a kid. So I grew up just the corner of Iona and John Morris. My best friends lived on the beach. So I spent a lot of time on the beach as a kid. I still do today. My father-in-law, he was owner of the Shamrock for 10 years, Shamrock Irish Pub. He had Beach Pub before that, bar in Miners Plaza. I got married here on the beach, had a reception at Bonita Bill's. So like I'm very tied into the island. You know what I mean? Like I have a long history on the island. I enjoy the island, always have, and we raise our kids here now. Just on the other side of the bridge, I live right next to the health park. So I'm just a few minutes away. And you'll notice if there's any after hours response, I'm usually from the fire department, the first one coming in because I'm the closest. So that's kind of my history with the beach and my role in the fire department. This is my first public safety committee meeting. So my plan moving forward is I'll provide you run data from the previous month. I've given you a handout this morning. That's what that is. And I'm always here to answer any questions you have about that data or about public safety in general, how we can help you meet expectations from the fire department. And I would also like feedback on what your expectations are from us so we can provide you with the level of service that you expect and certainly what you deserve. In my tenure, in my time here, something that you might hear me talk about a lot is we are very mission driven, right? Our mission is public safety. And that's the philosophy that we take and we push from the top all the way down. We are here to serve the public and protect the public. So anything that we can do to facilitate that mission, we want to do. And I'm always open to input and I seek it out so we can do an outstanding job of providing you outstanding service. That's what we want to do. So to get to the numbers that I gave you, if you look at that sheet, basically what it says is there's about a 50-50 split from fire and EMS calls. Before Ian, those numbers consistently were like 80-20, 90-10, somewhere in that range, a tremendous amount of EMS versus fire calls. Since then, we're about 50-50, and in previous meetings, I'm sure Chief Worth has gone over this with you. That's been consistent since then, and it remains consistent. And really what that translates is, one way to look at this, if you want to shape your perspective, is with the EMS used to be much more, right? That's usually a people problem. And then the fire stuff is usually a things problem, right? So we still see that we're dealing with a lot of things problems. And that means really there's a lot of buildings still under construction. A lot of this 50% of fire calls is fire alarms, responding to systems. So there's still, it's good. That means that there's systems coming on board, those buildings coming on board. Those are things we like to see. And we like having the opportunity to get in these buildings and help them come back online. But that's remained consistent month to month since then. And as that changes over time, I'll certainly draw your attention to it, and we can discuss these numbers in any way you want. But that's really what it's driving is we're still dealing with a lot of things, and there's a lot of things coming back online, and we're always here to help the people and do whatever we can to help them out. Another thing I would just want to talk about while I'm here is if you have any interest in special reports. I know historically we've provided reports periodically on incidents at specifically crosswalks or people on mopeds or motorcycles or things like that. So if you still want that, or if you have a curiosity about anything at any time, just reach out to me and let me know, and I'll provide that data for you. Okay? If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, that's the end of my report. No? All right, great. Thank you.
Wait.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
I have none.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, no, I have none.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Chris, Deputy Chief, before you walk off, one thing I think the council would like to see through the, at least I would like to see, I
Yeah.
don't want to speak for the entire council, but, we've recently changed the ordinance on electric bikes on sidewalks.
Yes, sir.
So it'd be interesting to see data both for the beach as well as, because we've got it, where we're going to revisit it again in about a year. It'd be nice to see the data monthly of any incidents that pertain to an e-bike, whether it's on the sidewalk, doesn't matter, just e-bike in general, because it'd be nice to have the data to be able to back up any decision should we decide to change it or keep it the way it is a year from now or whenever we revisit it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we can do. You know, we've recently added some administrative personnel. We have 2 new assistant chiefs we've taken on towards the end of this year. And that creates an opportunity for us to spend a lot more time doing administrative work. So generating those reports consistently and routinely and digging into that data is something we can definitely do. Part of what we're going to do in that workload with these additional administrative staff is we're going to really start driving our public messaging. So for instance, we've had 2 incidents recently between last month and then the first 2 weeks of this month. One involving a moped and one involving an e-bike. And the takeaway from both of those, from an operations perspective and a public safety perspective, is to drive and reinforce helmets. So like one of them was a more significant incident than the other, but it lacked the genesis of what made it significant was the person involved wasn't wearing a helmet. So, right, so we really want to drive helmet safety with the bikes. So, but I'll get that data for you month to month. That's no problem. Good.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Ella CSO is not here today, so we'll move on from that. I would like to add that section between 5 and, or 6 and 7. We'll put that there because a lot of times fire and police need to get out of here earlier, so we can put that before we get to old business. All right, so old business. Anybody have anything? I know it's been a while.
I still do.
I do. I know Tom's not here. We had done a bunch of work on identifying areas in the town where sidewalks were all missing. And we went out, we took pictures, we identified where all that went, and to this day, areas that I had hit anyway, are still missing huge hunks of sidewalk. People, you know, if you're riding a bicycle, there's no way because it's sand. If you are riding a bicycle down the sidewalk, you're moving out into the street. Construction trucks are taking up. It's kind of a mess. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's been looked at. And the other thing would be is that where the CATV or whoever else cut chunks out of the sidewalk, they filled it, instead of putting back concrete, they put in asphalt. And at the time, I kind of realized that with the heat and stuff down here, it has sunk. And so you have trip hazards and stuff up and down. Most of that was up on the north end, but those are the 2 things that, as far as safety, just walking down the street on the sidewalk, still needs to be. And I know that that's county, but if there's something that can be done, I never heard about it.
I could take that, Jason, if you want me to. The information was sent up to the county. All that information was, I believe, before Will was here, when Andy was still here. They are, last I heard, they were out for bid. I don't know if they've awarded a contract to do all the repairs, so they have the data. When they do it, they're gonna do it all at the same time. If you see, they're here now doing the crosswalks. The county's doing all the crosswalk lighting. That's why you're seeing a lot of the cones and stuff in certain areas, and you're seeing light poles that go up with the lights on them specifically at the crosswalk, and then you'll see a section where there's light poles and then there's no. That's the county doing their part of it when it comes to the crosswalks. We were looking at starting to do the vegetation along Estero Boulevard, which is under the towns through the interlocal with the county. They asked us to hold off until they redo all the sidewalks so that we're not redoing the work. We're not tearing up concrete, tearing up landscaping to then put it back down. So it is in the queue. Maybe have Jason or myself will follow up with Will to see if we can get an update to set out to you guys as to where the county is specifically regarding the sidewalks. But it is in there. They do have the data. They're fully aware of where the locations are, and they're gonna come down. It sounds like they do it all at one time and be done with it. And my guess is probably when they're done doing the streetlights, because I think they tied all of it together.
So Dan, are they adding more crosswalk lighting than what we used to have? Because that was a huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be major difference.
Well, that's awesome. Have they, and maybe I've missed it, because I usually am on top of it, have we seen like a layout of where they're gonna have the lit crosswalks?
Yeah, you can find that. I believe it's on the town's website. You can
Okay.
see the photometric study. Essentially, the gist of it is from the back of the sidewalk to the back of the sidewalk will be illuminated to meet public safety FDOT requirements of 1 foot candle per foot or whatever.
Yeah.
It's 1 foot candle.
That's amazing.
So back of sidewalk to back of sidewalk, I gave the update yesterday in our meeting, but they should be seeing the first lights coming on here the first week or second week of November, starting on the south end, as FWC comes down and gives their final approval of shielding and making sure the lights aren't shining to the beach. But you'll start to see some progress. They've told us that we should see all the lights done by the end of November, if not the first week or two of December, depending obviously on weather.
I apologize, I was on an airplane yesterday.
No, no, that's
I
fine.
did not see your thing that you
No,
mentioned
it's,
it
you
yesterday,
know,
I'm sorry.
it seems like it's, it has been a very long time, but, 3 storms got in the way, and it's not an excuse, but we're at least getting to the point now where you can, now the emails have changed from when are we gonna get lights to why do we have so many light poles? So it just goes to show you that, progress is, there's always somebody that doesn't like progress, and, but I think once you start to see it, and again, I'll reiterate, if you get a chance, if you're up at the corner of Crescent and the stoplight at Crescent and Estero, those are the lights that you will see down Estero Boulevard, so that'll give you an example of how it will be illuminated the entire length of the island and down every side street for, not the entire length of the street, but some of the side streets coming in from Estero Boulevard.
That's awesome.
But to answer your question, yes, you will see much more illumination at the crosswalks than you saw before.
Remember, we were fighting it so much.
It'll be different. It'll
That's
be much
good.
different. It'll be much better than it was.
All right. Any other old business?
Yeah, one question, I talked to Tom a couple of times on previous meetings about a yellow line down the middle of Old San Carlos. And he said that it's gotta go through miles and miles of red tape and bureaucracy with FDOT and the county and everything else for if it's wide enough to have or whatever, but it's difficult getting down Old San Carlos. Everybody wants to drive down the middle there. So you're just constantly,
Well, maybe when Tom gets in here, he might have an update on that. We can just ask him if they have asked them, and we can get an update from them on that. Maybe they addressed it or
Yeah,
had
absolutely.
some kind of resolution, I'm not sure. Okay, well, when he gets in here, we can ask him. Okay. Any other old business? New business? I have one thing. I wanted, if LCSO would have been here, with the new crosswalk at the base of the bridge with the light, I'm wondering how we are going to educate our drivers when they're coming over the bridge, if the light is green and the crosswalk is, don't walk, they are stopping, and you're seeing it now, because they've been trained for so long to stop whenever there's a crosswalk. And I'm hoping that we come up with some kind of plan, or LCSO has something to get it going, so that people, when they're coming over the bridge, it's green, they keep going and they're not stopping it right in the middle of the road to let 2 people go by instead of waiting for the light to turn red and then letting the crosswalk go.
Yeah, I noticed this morning that there was a sign that I never noticed before, but it's there. It says, you have to yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. That doesn't mean you have to yield to pedestrians on the sidewalk. You have to yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk.
Right.
So to your point, it can be confusing. When you read that, most people are gonna see that as there's people standing there to cross, but I'm gonna stop and let them cross.
It's exactly right, and it's just like any big city, when the light's red and it says don't walk, you're supposed to stop, and that's when the traffic can go, and so that was one of the things I was worried. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is FDOT going to, change the timing on the lights at each end of the bridge? I find it, it's funny, you leave the island and there's no traffic crosswalk, and that light is, it must be on a timer, and it's turning to red, and you're sitting there and there's just it's not, triggering from somebody coming from the left or right. And so you come over the bridge, I went over at 5 a.m. the other day, and I'm coming over, there's nobody out, and it turns to red, and I'm thinking, okay, this needs to be like on some kind of different type of timer or whatever, or some kind of mechanism that it's stopping when there's actually traffic on the side streets.
Yeah, I know that they've always told us that it's gonna be synced with all the lights will be synced. Whether or not they've all been synced yet, I don't know.
Okay.
They did just turn that on this week, the one at Main Street.
Yeah.
So it may not be fully synced yet, and I don't know, something we could ask is where the trip is for that. So if you're coming on Main Street from the west, going towards the base of the bridge, is it before the turn to go down to Dock Fords?
Right.
Or is it after? Because you could be going to go to Dock Fords and turn and trip it, even though you're not gonna go use
Right.
the light. So I don't know where, I would've
Well, last
think
3
they
times
thought of that,
it
but-
was tripped, there's nothing. I was sitting there going, okay.
It could be just that it's on a timer.
Yeah,
Just,
okay.
just to get people, I know that they've, they had it flashing yellow for, I don't know, a week or two, just to kind of train people that, hey, there's a light here.
Yeah.
Yesterday morning, I got stopped at it too, and there was nobody there. So I don't know if that's just part of the training, mental
Sure.
training, that, hey, there's a light here, don't forget to look for it. Because I have almost driven through it once, not even forgetting that it's there, so,
The sheriffs are sitting not too far away.
yeah, they'll remind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so gentle.
Okay, any other new business? Anybody have anything?
Madam Chair, if I could add to your item A, committee objectives for the upcoming year. So I think a newer process at the town clerk's office is working with the town administration and council is setting up informal discussions, I'd say during M&P meetings with advisory committees, just as an update if y'all are looking for direction or have projects or just a forum to discuss the committee with the town council. I believe the Public Safety Committee is currently scheduled for the November M&P, which is on November 6, 2025. So we encourage the Public Safety Committee to attend that. Similar to the joint sessions I think you all have had in the past, but we're just opening that up. I believe AAC is also on that M&P, and then periodically throughout the year, committees are always encouraged to come back and kind of keep that communication up, just in case you have any questions for council, or just gives you another forum for discussion on that. So just wanted to
that at 9
remind
a.m.?
everybody of that.
Is that a 9 a.m. meeting?
It is, 9 a.m. And so we're encouraging, the committees to, if you have objectives or special projects that the committee is thinking of, that's a great time to kind of discuss those or get direction, that sort of thing with. And then just as a couple updates more from the clerk's office, you still have 3 vacancies on this committee. So we encourage the community, if anybody out there is interested in applying for the Public Safety Committee, there's still 3 vacancies. So you can always put in an application with our office. And we encourage, anybody from the community to apply. We are, when we only have 4 members on the committee, we do run into some quorum issues where we need to have everybody there. So we encourage getting that committee filled, and then that way, we can make sure you all are able to meet. And then just another reminder too, we have a Sunshine and Public Records training for all the committee members tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We encourage all the advisory committee members to attend that. And I believe we're going to record that and stream it as well. So if you can't make it in person, just encourage everybody to kind of get that annual refresher on the sunshine laws and the public records training. So
Would that be here?
that'll be here too. Yep.
Okay.
So
And how long's that?
I think we're aiming for about an hour, so it shouldn't be too much, but it'll be similar to if anybody watched the one or attended last year's. Our town attorney is kind of working on presentation, just a general one to provide to all the committee members. So. And then that way, if you have any questions or anything like that too, that's another opportunity. You can ask anything about that. So that's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then November 6, 2025, Public Safety Committee and the Anchorage Advisory Committee are on the, I believe they're listed for the agenda for MMP. And then just another reminder, anybody who's interested, we still have 3 vacancies on your committee, so. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Jason, how do people go about applying for that?
Yeah, so on the town website, I think is the easiest. There's an electronic application. You can fill it out and send it directly to Amy Baker, the town clerk, or myself as well, and we can get those processed. So, and then typically, whenever we receive those, it just has to go to town council for their consideration and appointment. So we can usually get that done in, I'd say, whatever the next upcoming town council meeting is. So probably within about a month. But yeah, the application's on there. Just requires just a little bit of information about whoever's interested, and we can get it rolling. So.
Okay. And since I'm here,
Sure.
people need to know that they don't need to be a resident of the town, or?
I don't believe it's a requirement, but it does factor into the considerations of it. But
It
with
helps,
the 3
but-
vacancies, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
that's more for town council's consideration when they're doing appointments. But in a situation like this where there's just the 3 vacancies, I think there's a little more opportunity for appointment. So.
All right, we're moving along here.
Are we still in new business yet?
Yeah, you can keep going if you
Okay,
have something.
all right, yeah, I do. And this is gonna be just a, a question. A while back, I noticed some of the side streets were getting totally repaved. And this is kind of a selfish question on my side, but Sterling Avenue is just really tore up bad. And which is a safety hazard, riding bicycles down it. It's really tore up. And so my question would be is what is the town doing side streets? I've seen that they have, and I don't know if there's a plan to continue.
Yeah, there is a plan. Jason, if you could, when you see Will, if you could get him to give an update as to how it relates with or Frankie or whomever, or I can do it either way. It's tied to the tier projects with the stormwater. I know that the most recent one was around the Shell Mound area. There was some paving that was done there on some of the side streets. The ultimate goal is to do every side street. If you've been paying attention to the council meetings, it all takes money, right? And there is a plan, yes, to do all the side streets. We just have to do it in a time frame where we have to put the money out to receive the money back to be able to move on to the next section. So, but yes, it is planned. And if you do see that there's a serious public safety risk, especially on any street, let us know. We have sent people out there, whether it's our staff or someone, to get out there and put some temporary pavement in or do something to make sure that it doesn't become a public safety risk. So if you see something that we have missed, please let us know.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anybody have anything else?
Yeah, the traffic circle. I've noticed so far my experience has been a 100% that this has happened coming from Times Square, the lights to head down the island on Estero. The lights have arrows. So when it's red, there are 2 red arrows in the lights. So far, every single person I've been behind takes that to mean no turn on red. There are no turn on red signs, which my understanding is that means it's only no turn on red if there's a sign prohibiting a turn on red. So I don't see a sign that says that, but everyone is taking those red arrows as being no turn on red. So if it's really not meant to be a no turn on red, then maybe we need to ask that those just be, I mean, honestly, those should just be blinking red all the time so that you can just come up, stop and go. Or at the very least, change them to a red light so that instead of the arrows, so that people go, oh, it's just a normal red light. I can go up, I can look for oncoming traffic, and I can go ahead and turn after coming to a complete stop. So.
We'll certainly make sure we get that information to them. You know, I think we all understand we're gonna have some learning curves when it comes to that new roundabout. People are gonna have to learn. It's probably gonna get worse before it gets better as we start coming into season. But we'll certainly pass that information on. To me, it makes sense what you're saying. Perfect examples up at Daniels. You know, we've all gone to Daniels and turned right. They've got a big sign that says no turn on red, so you know don't turn on red. And then it goes off when you can turn. So we'll pass that information on to FDOT and see if there's something you can do, or give us direction as to what exactly that means. Does it mean you shouldn't turn? I'm sure LCSO knows too, but we can get an answer for you.
I think the same thing is, so when you're coming up the bridge, now you can take that right lane to go over, to take a right, where it used to be only the buses could be on there, and then at the very end, you could scooch over, but now you can go up, and I don't think there's I know there's arrows on the road that says straight, but I don't know if there's signs saying, you know, right lane to get on the bridge, you know, turn right to the north end of the island or something. Food for thought.
Yeah, again, I think
I think there's gonna be a lot of learning
it's
curves
gonna be a
when it
lot of
starts
learning
getting
curves.
busy.
I think you're gonna probably go through the growing pains of people are gonna be in the right lane at the last second, try to cut over into the left lane.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
I think you're gonna see a lot of things that people are gonna learn as they come back to the island and understand, well, I didn't realize I could drive in this lane all the way over. So I think we're gonna have some growing pains at least this season, and it'll only get better, hopefully. You know, my concern has been, and I've seen it, you know, there's 8-10 crosswalks there, and people are still crossing through the middle of the median. They're not going to the crosswalk. So, you know, our fears are coming to fruition. And unfortunately, I think the fire department's gonna have a few calls there at some point during the season because people are gonna walk through at night or do something. So hopefully it's better than it was, but we're already seeing people not using the crosswalks. So I think we need to take a better look, and maybe this committee could look at if there's ways to do barriers. I know we've talked about landscaping barriers. We've talked about things to try to direct people to the crosswalks. But we haven't got a word yet as to when that's gonna go out for bid. to do the plantings at the base of the bridge, or Jason maybe has more information than I would on that, but I have not heard anything as to when that contract is going out for bid yet. We all know Margaritaville will maintain it once it's in, but it hasn't gone out for bid that I know of yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, we can get an update for you, though.
Okay, anything else for new business?
Just wanted, if you didn't get a chance to see the meeting yesterday, or if you haven't had a chance to get down to Old San Carlos, we now have lights all down Old San Carlos that light up, solar lights that light up the entire road now, as of about 2 weeks ago, so much safer, much more illuminated to be able to go down Old San Carlos now at night. It's not the permanent solution, but it'll be our solution until we get through the CDBGR funding issue. That's where that funding will come from, that we're working with on the county. So as soon as we have the funds, we'll be able to see decorative poles and finished product there. But for now, at least, there's some nice solar lights at work. All the businesses have reached out and are very happy that that's up. So that's an update that maybe, if you didn't know yet from yesterday, now you know.
Perfect, and just in time for Halloween. All right, anybody else? Okay, I think the next thing is probably that we need to talk about is when our next meeting is, because we're about ready for adjournment.
Sure, yeah, and Madam Chair, if I could just add,
Yes.
Tom apologizes for not being able to make it, but I did also want to introduce the committee to Riley Baker, who's the Neighborhood Services Coordinator, who I believe is going to be taking on a lot of the Public Safety Committee liaison work in between the committee and the town. So I just want to introduce Riley, and I think she's the one that sent you all the information last week, so I just wanted to put a face to the name with all that. And then, yeah, so we have your November 6th M&P discussion with council, and then your typically scheduled November meeting would be, I believe, that third Tuesday, which would be,
It's the 18th, and I was gonna see if we could move it.
okay, let's see.
And Riley, do you have anything to say or add?
Sorry, I'm coming off of a little bit of a cold, so excuse me. I just want to say I'm happy to be here. If you guys ever need any help with anything, feel free to reach out, and I'll try my best to get you the information you asked for.
All right, thank you.
So we do run into the Thanksgiving holiday
I know.
fairly soon after that.
I just cannot be here the 18th. That's my big, I'm kind of crazy in November.
Let's see, so the 19th is board cab, the 20th is cell cab.
We have sand sculpture that weekend. It's gonna be crazy. Could we ever do a Monday or no? That's always,
We could, as long as, so council's typically the first and the third, Mondays of the month. Let's see, so that Monday,
I don't
so
know.
council is the 17th.
I was gonna see if anybody could do the 24th. No, you're gone. Well, I'll just, if we have it on the 18th, I will not be here, so I don't know. I mean, I can call in, but I can't.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if we don't have any other committee members, then we wouldn't have physical quorum.
I know.
So,
Could we go to the 10th, up a week to the 10th?
I'm gone, that is,
The 10th too.
my November is awful, so I'm gone the entire week of the 10th and most of the next week. I could go early, but that's like 2 weeks from now.
I mean, and you all do have the M&P for November, so if that's a decision
We
you
are
all
gonna
want to
maybe-
make, then you can always wait till your December meeting
We could do our
too.
M&P as the meeting, kind of, I mean, that'd be our marching orders at least. I don't know,
That would give you some direction then to work forward towards your December meeting.
that wouldn't be a bad idea.
I think I
Then
like
we're-
that idea.
That'd be a great idea, and then we could come up with our,
I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna be back by then.
okay.
I should be, but.
Well, at least we won't have to have a quorum for that, it's a meeting, but we can get direction, and then we can, when we come back in December, we can have Riley share everything of what their direction was, so we can come prepared. We can also ask some of these questions that I've just taken down that you guys have asked. So that gives us, you know, a lot of, we'll at least have all the answers, so that we can hit the ground running. Is everybody okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I get back on the 6th, I'll just see what time
Okay.
what time?
9.
9.
Yeah, the M&Ps are typically, yeah, for 9 o'clock.
And if somebody does join the safety committee, and we can't have quorum on the 18th, we can have that up there. I just know I'm not gonna be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think if we get some applications, I believe we should maybe be able to put it on the second November meeting to get that appointed for council, if that's their decision. So, I mean, we can fill them fairly quickly by December too. So, and then that would put your next regular meeting on December 16th.
Yeah. I have a LPA meeting that morning. They said LPA's that morning.
I will double check it. Let's see.
I only know it because I was told we have to go in for something.
LPA.
So maybe double check.
Yeah, I'll confirm that one, because I'm
Check-
showing
double
LPA
check
at 1
that.
o'clock, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll double check and see. So
I
we
heard
might have
they
to,
moved it.
maybe we'll have to move public safety anyway, but, yeah, we just encourage everybody, if you can, to attend that, M&P, and then also just another reminder on that Sunshine and Public Records training tomorrow at 10 a.m. here at Town Hall.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. There's nothing else. I think we will have motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.